Welcome to the Spectrum of Strengths podcast, brought to you by Talkback UK. When you think of autism, we invite you to think differently. Join us for this episode as we showcase the talent, potential and strength of each and every one of our members that make them who they are. In this episode, I'm joined by Claire Nichols from Family Lives, and we are going to be talking about who Family Lives are, the impact and the work that they do in collaboration with Talkback under the Carers MK support project, and ways that families of neurodiverse children can be supported. So Claire, welcome into the studio. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you very much for having me.
You are very welcome. Is this your first podcast recording?
It is, yes.
Fabulous. Well, welcome to the studio. Hopefully this will be a nice, enjoyable experience for you. So you work for Family Lives in Milton Keynes. Family Lives are a charity that support the families of neurodiverse children. And recently we have been working together under the Carers Support Project supported by Citizens Advice and Milton Keynes Council. But before we get into that and the work that we do together, let's talk a bit about Family Lives in particular. So tell me, who are Family Lives and what do they do?
Well, Family Lives is a national charity that supports parents, carers and families in England and Wales with all aspects of family life. We understand that family life and parenting can be really challenging, and we know the right support at the right time makes all the difference. And that's why we offer a comprehensive suite of resources, including our national helpline, online chat. We have a WhatsApp support service, email support and a really good website. For families in need of more intensive support, we provide a range of direct services across communities in England and Wales. The issues we support families with include family breakdown, challenging relationships, behaviour, debt and emotional and mental wellbeing. So the history of Family Lives is a charity that was formed almost 50 years ago and was initially known as Parentsand. The organisation was established in response to the tragic child abuse case of Maria Colwell in 1973, who was killed by her stepfather. And the charity's founders recognised the need for a dedicated support system for parents, aiming to intervene before they reach crisis point, which could result in abuse. A merger in 1999 between the National Step Families Association, Parentsand and the Parent Network built on the collective experience of these three charities to become Parentsand Plus, to provide a range of national and local services to support parents and families across the country. In 2011, Parentsand Plus reverted back to its registered name of Family Lives, and that's where we are today.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So Family Lives does a lot, like you say, for supporting the mental wellbeing of parents of neurodiverse children. As you say, in reflection of that poor child abuse case, to kind of support them so that they don't get to that point. And I think that's a really important service, because so many services think about the neurodiverse child themselves and how they can be supported, but a lot of people don't always take into account what goes on behind closed doors and behind the scenes for those families. So a service like Family Lives is really important, and we are absolutely honoured to be working with you guys under the Carers Support Project. So the Carers Support Project in Milton Keynes is funded by Milton Keynes Council and headed by Citizens Advice. Talkback UK and Family Lives are working together on this project for the category of carers of neurodiverse. Talkback supports the neurodiverse person themselves, and Family Lives support the family member of that. But why don't you tell me a little bit more about how Family Lives works under the Parent and Carer Support Project?
Thank you. So I feel really lucky to be part of a meaningful Carers and Parents project in Milton Keynes. And as you said, it's funded by the council and we collaborate very closely with Talkback. Within this project, I offer one-to-one support to individual families, and this support can be provided in a family's home or a safe place somewhere local. I offer parents a safe place to sit and share their stories and help them make informed choices and guide them towards other specialist organisations they may not be aware of. And this is something that anyone can self-refer to, or they will be referred by local professionals. I think we're going to talk a bit more about that at the end. Mm-hmm. My support groups meet regularly at the Cornerstone Church in Milton Keynes, where everyone is welcome to join for a cuppa. It's a relaxed environment where parents and caregivers can listen to each other's experiences and tell their story. I also facilitate online groups, particularly for the ethnic minority families, and I provide information sessions on topics such as ADHD and autism in children and young people.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. So, with those kind of support sessions and social groups that you have, both in person and online, do you generally feel you get quite a positive reception from parents? Do they support each other as well as you supporting them?
They do, and we all learn from each other. I'm still learning as well. So when we sit there and somebody opens up about how they feel, everyone else realizes they're not alone. There are other people and in the same position as they are, and it's just been brave enough to share their story and to feel empowered.
Absolutely, because there definitely is, especially for parents, there must be quite a lot of stigma around being able to just keep going, and it's not easy to be a parent, let alone a parent of a child with neurodiversity. So I feel it's so important to have these services like Family Lives to help the parent, because often they are overlooked when it's normally how can the child be helped in school, how can the child be helped in adult life, and they don't always take into account like what goes on in the home and how that can impact the parent. So with that in mind, how can neurodiverse families improve their communication and well-being?
Well, early support is very beneficial for children, and when caregivers are informed and supported, they can provide better care for their children. And putting the support systems in place helps reduce feelings of loneliness and isolation that many of these families face. When we connect with others in similar situations, that enables a sense of community to develop. Providing resources enables families to become resilient, boosting their self-esteem and confidence in navigating challenges, and educating parents about their rights, such as the ability to apply for an EHCP, even after refusal, is vital. A lot of parents think that once they get refused, that's the end of it for them, but it isn't. They can appeal.
Okay.
So this knowledge empowers them to advocate effectively for their child. So by facilitating support groups, I create spaces for families to come together, share their experiences and discuss the challenges that they face. And this collective discussion helps them navigate their futures more effectively. Families are the backbone of a child's life. And, parents take on multiple roles, from therapists to researchers and emotional anchors for their children. And they're always navigating the diagnosis for their child, fighting for school accommodations, supporting emotional regulation, and they strive to maintain everyday family life. Siblings of neurodiverse children often earn empathy and responsibility early on, but may experience unnoted pressure. And this is really important, it's acknowledged as well. Families frequently experience chronic stress, burnout, relationship conflict, and financial strain due to reduced work hours. They navigate confusing education and healthcare systems, often without adequate respite or mental health support for themselves. But when these families receive the necessary support, children thrive. And it's that straightforward. Reducing burnout, improving mental health within the family unit, it leads to better outcomes for children.
Yeah.
And we also need to think about understanding communication, because it goes just beyond talking. Communication encompasses behaviour, body language, routines, tones and trust. And children express themselves through behaviour, repetition, silence, movement and emotion. And our focus should shift from solely verbal communication to understanding the underlying feelings and needs. And when we establish clear routines using visual schedules and advanced warnings about change, that helps reduce anxiety. When children feel safe, communication becomes manageable, and families can create these safe spaces at home where stimming, movement, quiet, or varying different sorts of emotions are accepted. And simple tools like calm voices, sensory breaks, breathing exercises, they can just benefit everyone in the household, not just the children.
Absolutely. You're 100% right there. And I'm going to take back to a statement that you said during that, which was families are the backbone of their children's lives. And that's so true. It's so important that the families have a way of, if the families are and the parents are able to look after their own mental health and well-being, then it will reflect on the children as well. And it has those multiple beneficial points. And that's so, so important. And it's kind of the question of, how can these families get in contact with Family Lives? What can they do if they want to self-refer and receive this support?
If a family wants to self-refer, they can contact me on my email, which is claren@familielives.org.uk, and they can refer themselves in. Schools can also refer in. They can send me an email. They can refer a family in. And, they need to enhance their wellbeing, and sometimes they need to let go of the unrealistic expectations that they find themselves in.
Yeah.
And seeking help and prioritising self-care, it's really important. It's a strength to recognise when you need some help, and they need to realise they aren't alone. You can't pour from an empty cup, and we discuss the wellbeing of parents. A principle we emphasise at Family Lives is the empty cup model. Parenting is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, and parenting or caring for a child or young adult with SEN or learning difficulties is even harder. It's crucial we take care of ourselves, whether that's starting a hobby you always wanted to do, exploring with friends, simply just taking a walk in nature, or just trying to remember who you were and your identity before you had children.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we just get lost along the way as just being a parent.
Absolutely. You lose that. You lose just being yourself sometimes, like just being a parent in general, but being a parent to a SEN child, it's a lot of life can sometimes be completely focused on providing for that child all the time, and it's not always focused on who you are, not just as a parent but as a person. So like you say, that's very important in terms of how parents can refer and why it's important they should refer. So thank you, I appreciate that.
And if anyone is listening to this as a parent, just please remember that children don't come with instructions. You don't have to be perfect or to do anything perfectly. Parenting isn't linear. Tough days don't erase good ones, and reaching out for support doesn't mean you are failing. Everyone needs support at some time, and it just means you're human. We can't change the behaviour of children sometimes, but we can change how we feel about it.
Yeah.
And when we support families, we support children. And when we support children, we invest in a kinder, more inclusive future for them to thrive.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Claire. That's been really, really helpful. And it's been really good to work with you guys at Talkback and Family Lives, working together under the Carer Support Project, because like you say, it's providing that support for the whole family of neurodiverse children. And that's so, so important. So thank you so much. If you'd like to get in contact with Family Lives, you can reach out to Claire on her email, which is, do you want to repeat it into the mic again for me?
It's claren@familielives.org.uk.
Lovely. And Family Lives have a website themselves.
www.familielives.org.
Perfect. So if you want to find out a bit more about Family Lives, I know that you guys have some blogs and some resources and some information on there as well. So you can head on to their website as well, and you can also drop Claire an email to refer onto one of their programmes. So thank you so much, Claire, for joining us in the studio today. How do you feel? It's been your first podcast episode.
It feels great to actually talk about Family Lives and what we do.
Absolutely. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the studio today. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning into this episode. We hope that you found it informative and helpful. And we hope to hear from you. Hope to see from you next month, where we will join you for our next episode of the Spectrum of Strengths podcast, joined to you by Talkback UK. I've been Grace Spicer. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.